welcome to my channel. This is the topic regarding soil forming processes. Overall, in soil forming processes, we can see some four different involvements. What are those? They are addition of some materials in the soil, and few materials will be lost in the soil, and some materials like clays and other oxide minerals etc. will translocated from one layer to another layer, and another component that which completely undergoes a transformation, mostly organic matter. So these are the four involvements will be taking place in the soil forming process. Also, this soil forming process called as soil phytogenic process. Now we will see the very fundamental phytogenic process. What are these? So naturally, these phytogenic processes are very slow when compared with geological process, and this convert this lifeless parent material into true soils and fully involvement of life. And finally, these processes are very dynamic and involves many chemical, biological reactions. And also, these are all completely combined with natural environment. As we discussed in the first slide, is the complete gains and losses, transformation and translocation. Mostly in translocation, we can see movement of particles either through leaching, that is movement of the soil, or movement in suspension, mostly elevation process of clay, organic matter, and hydrolysis. Overall, students, there are two types of soil forming processes or soil phytogenic process. Very first, fundamental soil forming processes. In that, humidification is first fundamental soil forming process, and next is elevation, is second important soil forming process, and finally elevation, that is fundamental soil forming process. So these three are the important fundamental soil forming process. So very first we will discuss about the humidification. This is what we discussed in the previous. Here you can see complete transformation of organic raw organic material into humus substance. Mostly, very first, a simple compounds like sugar starts decomposing first, and later on we will see the cellulose and proteins, and very finally we can see the decomposition of resistant components such as tannins and decomposition and tannins etc. So finally we will get a dark colored substance as shown in this image. This is known as humus. So ultimately, humidification is a process of transformation of raw organic matter into humus. It is an extremely complex process, involvement of various organisms. And next is elevation. So elevation is nothing but it's a translocation. This is a reaction or mobilization of major constituents of soil like clay, iron oxides, aluminum oxides, silica oxides, humus, and calcium carbonates, and rest all other components. So mostly in elevation process, we can see the translocation of these components from one layer to the another layer. So mostly this elevation layer is also called as washout layer, because most of the constituents will be removed in this layer and translocated in the beneath the layer either through percolation of water, and this elevation process complete comprises of mostly mobilization, translocation of mobile constituents, which leads to the some textural contrast difference between the lower and upper layers. So mostly this horizon formed with the process of elevation is termed as alluvial horizon. So naturally, the horizon formed by the process of elevation is termed as alluvial horizon, or it is denoted by A2 or E horizon. So mostly translocation of the components completely depend upon the relative mobility of the element and depth of percolation. And next is elevation, which is quite opposite. So whatever the components are leached out or washed out from the alluvial, the above layer will completely came and deposit in this layer, this lower layer. So this is called the elevation layer. Mostly this layer is called wash-in layer, because all the components which are leached out from the above alluvial layer is deposited in this layer. So this is mostly termed as B horizon, or especially it is denoted as BT. You can see the clear textural contrast between the E and BT horizons in the ratio of fine to total clear ratio in the BT horizon. So B alluvial horizon sometimes represent as BT horizon, and Finally, all this difference will end up with a one more terminology called horizonation. And this difference of this textural difference and this translocation difference and transformation difference relates to the formation of different layers. So those are called that is called the horizonation. Thank you, students. Please subscribe and like our soil channel. And if you need any ICR guidance program, please join our academy, Agri Challenge Academy. Thank you.